the live stream did. None of that means anything to anyone watching, but like it went different. It confused me because like even like the getting it set up and stuff was had all gone different. It's it was weird. Anyway, it's a live stream. It's a live stream. It's the 20th live stream that I've done on the channel. It's pretty cool. I like it. I'm quite happy with that fact. Can say I'm pretty happy with it. I'm still opening all of my... I have like now what, like 7, 8 tabs open when I do these streams, and I don't feel like I use enough of them to justify having them all open. But here we are. That's my Christmas tree over there on the edge of the screen, in case you're wondering, because that's still up. But it's a live stream, and it's 20 live streams. It's kind of cool, actually. Quite happy about that. It's not going to be in here. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Shut up, Andrew. You don't know what you're talking about. Where am I? Who am I? What am I doing? Yeah, that is what I want. Cool. Okay, it's a live stream. It's a live stream. I hope everyone watching is having a good day, night, morning, whenever you're watching this. Hope it's uber duper wonderful. Because you're uber duper wonderful. And I hope the best for you. I don't even have all my stuff on. I'm going to put my stuff on. My attempts to be more presentable in these live streams. I don't know. Just look nicer, be more presentable, be more, I don't know, more than just sitting on the couch half asleep because I've been awake all day and I'm sleepy. Like, can do better. I can. Because it's a live stream. It is a live stream. So what to talk about today? I had a couple topics. Of course, they're not in my head. I get comments lately. Like somebody on Instagram commented, another atheist, and then like a face palm emoji. I don't really have a comeback to that. Yeah, another atheist. Just another dude doing atheism stuff on the interwebs. Nothing special. Like, yeah. Someone said pseudo-intellectual, which means fake intellectual. I don't even think I'm intellectual enough to warrant the title of fake intellectual. Like, I don't even think I'm that far, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Hi, kitten. Here's a good comment that I can read. You have reason to believe your YouTube videos will matter. They might, to some people. Or no, you have no reason to believe that YouTube videos will matter. Some people like my content. Some people enjoy my content. Some people have said that it helps. So, like, I don't know. Maybe. But you're here making them because I enjoy it. I like making this content. I like interacting with people. I like learning new things that goes into this content. I look like I'm from 2012. What does that mean? Versus, I'm sure you love one day to live in a mansion funded by YouTube viewership. I'm not a mansion person. It wouldn't be bad if this became like a job, if I could start making money off of social media. I'm not opposed to it. But like mansion, not a mansion person. If I can get a house with 2 bathrooms, that'd be pretty exciting. If I'm going to be completely honest with you. A lot to clean. But faith in something, I guess. It's not really faith. It's just kind of like I like making this content, and some people seem to like it. Where your atheism becomes a religion is when you seek to get others on board with you, with your unoriginal thoughts. Look for financial support, which many atheists like you do via Patreon donations and the like, and spend most of all your time dwelling on the topic. I don't know if that is a religion. I like getting other people to question Christianity and question religion because I think it's important, because I think religion and religious beliefs can be very, very harmful, and I think it's better to question things and to follow evidence-based things we have actual credible reason to believe. I think it's just overall better. I don't get any financial support. Well, that's not true. I get a little bit of money from TikTok. Like, for a while there, I was making like $15 every like few months or so. But that's going away now. So now I'm back down to nothing, which is fine. And it's like, which many atheists like you do via Patreon. Many content creators do. Like, that's like many content creators. There are plenty of Christian content creators who also try to make a living off of the internet and do Patreon and stuff like that. And I always like to say, I know I have morals, because if I didn't have morals, I'd be a Christian content creator, because it would be 1,000 times easier to get that to a position where I can monetize it and live off of it. Then most of your time dwelling on the topic, it's a hobby. I like it. I've always been passionate about religion. I've always liked religion. It's a hobby. Sorry, like, keep scrolling if you're not into it. I just like it. And unoriginal thoughts, yeah, it's hard to have original thoughts these days, especially when it comes to the topic of theism versus atheism. It's kind of hard to come up with something new. If you're profiting off anti-theism views and spending tons of time making your life about your atheism, you got a religion, bud. No. I'm sorry. That's just not how it works. For reasons I've explained. Alright, I have a few chats. Hairstyle, face, in the flannel shirt feels like you were living in 2012 and not 2025. Started high school in 2012. No, that's fine. I didn't take any hate from it. 2012 wasn't bad. I agree. Question. Burgers, fries, onion rings. Unoriginal hate comments. Yeah. Get a lot of them. Where are you reading from? That was a YouTube comment. I just read a couple of YouTube comments. That's one thing that I do with all these lives. I open up specifically the comments of my YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, because those are where I get the most comments. I also have a Blue Sky. I also have a Lemonade. I just made a Clapper account because I hate myself. And I do have a Patreon, which there's nothing special behind the paywall of Patreon. The Patreon is really, it's really just become like behind the scenes, just goofy stuff, bloopers. Like one of the last videos I posted was I went to record in like my spot that I record in, and I realized that the floor was creaking, and so I just started like bouncing up and down on the creaky floor because I have ADHD, and I just got distracted, and so I just went and took a video of that, just like when you go to record, but you have ADHD and the floor creaks. And literally I have like, I'm pretty sure I have a warning for anyone who wants to like have like a paid subscription or whatever. The Patreon is just like this is very much appreciated, but there is nothing back here. There's a post and a video, both basically just me being like, hey, look at you, you did a thing. You might have wasted your money, but like, I appreciate it, and you did a thing, and like that's it. In the video, I did stand outside in the snow because I had hoped that maybe that'll be accepted as some kind of penance, for people who spent money. Yeah, I do have a Patreon, but at every turn, I warn people. I'm not. It's your money. Do what you want with it, but there is nothing special. Nothing special. Hello. And then I think those are the only places I post. Clapper is a platform that exists. Again, just like with the issues with Lemonade, but somehow worse. I I log on to Clapper, get an account, and just walk right in the door, and there's just inappropriate content. This provocative, inappropriate, just right in the door. It's the same issue that I had with Lemonade, but worse. Like it's one thing if a platform can't control the inappropriate stuff on their platform. It's another thing entirely when that stuff greets its newcomers. It's bad. Which God? Any God. I mostly focus on the Christian God, but like any God. Christians always ask me about the eyewitnesses who saw Jesus do miracles, apparently died for what they saw. Yeah. For people like that, I like to reference Jonestown and Heaven's Gate and 9/11, where people were willing to die for something that they believed in, or willing to follow someone to death for something they believed in. I like to point out the people who, in present times, go to faith healing churches and watch pastors pretend to faith heal people and heal people of their ailments and believe that is actually happening. So, and it's a huge mess because we have no idea what actually happened. We really don't. Like, I don't even know what they were looking at that they could have perceived as something supernatural. I don't even know if they were there, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But even if there was a dude walking around, doing stuff that people thought were miracles and were willing to die for, that's not stuff that happens today. And it's actually quite regular, so it's not really anything too compelling. Christian God, deaf not. I don't know about the thousands of others, though. One of them might be right. Why do you focus more on the Christian God more when you were Catholic most of your life? Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, Catholic is a denomination of Christianity. So I was Christian. And therefore, it's a few reasons. One, I was raised Christian, was a devout Christian, so it's the religion that I have the most knowledge of and experience in, and have just the most. It's just been a part of my life. I have knowledge and experience, I guess, is the best way to describe it. And it's the main religion in the country that I live in, that's doing stuff and swaying people's decisions in the country that I live in. So it's the main religion that's having a negative impact on people like me, atheists, LGBTQ folks. It's the main present one. People say, like, why don't you talk about Islam? I wasn't raised Muslim, and I don't currently have Muslims trying to play a hand in government and whatnot, really. So it's just not to say it's not an issue. And I mention other religions here and there because, like, other religions are issues too, but Christianity is just my main focus. Martyrdom is not unique to their religion. This is true. I mean, it is basically part of the same story. That's like saying I rode a dinosaur to Jupiter and came back and named people who saw me on the book. Doesn't really mean they did. Yeah. It's like feeding of the 5,000. 5,000 people saw him do this. It's like I sprouted wings yesterday and flew around the city, and 400 people saw me. I can do that too. I can say those numbers too. We don't have any testimony. We don't have any eyewitness testimony because the Gospels are not believed to be eyewitness testimonies. We don't have any eyewitness testimony of Jesus doing anything, let alone testimony from the thousands of people that he fed, or the 500 that he performed miracles with. That's mentioned sometime after the gospel. I can't remember. I think it's one of the early letters of Paul. I should know. but I don't. What's the topic here? I don't know. Theism versus atheism. Is there a God? Do we have reason to believe in a God? I actually, it's interesting that you brought up that the martyrdom thing, because I do want to make a video at some point. It's on the list. I'm not going to tell you when, because I don't know when. Could be another year. Who knows? But I do want to make a video addressing the Lord Liar Lunatic argument and throw in and connect the martyrdom thing with it, like why the apostles might have been willing to go to their deaths, kind of like what I just explained. So I want to make a longer video on that. I feel like most religious people think plausibility equals high probability. Maybe people be thinking things. Oh, and literally, yeah. And this is why I was really thinking about the long video idea, because the last YouTube comment that I've gotten, the most recent one, I guess this also means that you wouldn't believe the 12 men that also willingly died horrible deaths, because they wouldn't deny that Jesus was a living God, because they actually spent time with him and came to the conclusion he was in the flesh. Yeah, I don't really find that compelling, especially because Judas killed himself, and then didn't one of the apostles not be martyred? I thought one of them didn't. Again, stuff that I should know. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of information to learn. My brain doesn't like it. And especially because I have a brain that throws out information if it's not used for a while. So, like, I'll study different arguments for the existence of a God and, like, scientific explanations for things, and then I won't look at that argument for a few months, and it's gone. You know, like, there are many times where someone will bring up an argument in the chat that, like, I've heard before, I know it, but let me just Google it real quick to refresh my memory, and then once I see what it is, it all comes back. You know, my arguments against it comes back, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't have enough boxes in my brain, I guess. I've always believed it's better to die for something than nothing. Maybe. Might be more noble. Have your death mean something. I can definitely get that. And it's really bad. That forgetting thing, it's really bad at work. 'Cause I run a department. I run a small department, but I run a department nonetheless. And there's like a lot of important information I'm supposed to know and stuff I'm supposed to know how to do. But it's like stuff that I'm taught about once and then don't use. So like it's gone, you know. It's so hard. Kind of more like don't waste your life. Yeah, I can definitely respect that. I have different ideas, and like I have books that I'm working on, just fiction books, that I really want to get finished sometime before I die. Like, and it like worries me. Like, I don't have time to work on these books, and I try to find time here and there, but I just don't. It's a series, but like, I don't want those stories to die with me. I want to get those out, and it's kind of similar to this content. I want to say stuff. I want to put my thoughts and my arguments out there. I don't want them to die with me. I want to leave something behind, hopefully something positive, that can do something good, you know? Hello, Darko. I'm doing all right. Would I ever drive in a Tesla with autopilot on? I would need it. We would need to be well into the future where it's like a common thing, where like it like happens and like everyone's doing autopilot and there's significantly less crashes. Like I need a little bit more trustability, because I don't have that now. You got a lot of time left. I hope I have a lot of time left. Uh, I don't know if talking about on this earth or like in the life or whatever. I have a lot of time left in the life, unless I die right now. That would be unfortunate. Um, I got some thoughts out. It's fine. Uh, I would hope that I have a lot of time, but you really just don't know. Uh, my probably two oldest, closest, bestest friends that I've ever had that were like family are no longer with us. And they were my age, and they passed away a couple years ago, like 5 months apart from each other. Uh, so yeah, I don't know how much time I have. And like a couple years prior to that, another guy in my class died of a brain aneurysm. And somewhere in that, somebody who was a grade or two above me lost his girlfriend in a car accident. So like, and then like plenty of people die of so many different things at so many different ages. So like, you don't know how much time you have. Like, I don't know who the hell promised you tomorrow, but they don't know what they're talking about, you know? Because, I mean, I guess statistically speaking, you will probably live to see tomorrow, but like, statistically speaking, there's a chance that you won't. So, I don't know. I wish I could talk to you personally about atheism and compelling arguments I find to and against my beliefs to see what you think. Uh, well, you can try in the chat. I know chat's kind of limited, and I hate that. I would love if I could have like a guest type system or a call in type system where I can talk to people, kind of like the line or the atheist experience or whatever, just so that I could have conversations. You know, um, I don't feel like it would be quite as. I mean, maybe it would get as intense as it does on some of those call in shows, but I don't know. Just use Discord. I thought about that, and I have a Discord. I just don't think I could properly moderate that while I'm doing a live. Like I try to come up with all different ways of like how I screen and moderate and put people into the queues and whatnot, and I really just I mean, like for people like you guys who've been around for a while, yeah, I could probably bring you guys up in the Discord, but like just like the average person, I don't know. I don't know. And I mean, it's issues that the other call-in shows have too. So like it's stuff that happens, but I don't know. I wouldn't. It would become too much of a mess, including for the people who are trying to just enjoy it in the Discord and in the whatnot. So I need to make sure I can provide a good experience before I need to make sure the park is safe to play in before I open the park, if that makes sense. Maybe you just don't let people you don't trust onto the show, i.e., people in chat who have a record of good faith behavior. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Doom, did you change your profile picture? I didn't even realize that was you for a second until I saw your name. Did you just change that? I feel like you're. Yeah. Where's that somebody else? Doom? See, here's the thing. Your profile picture is still the old one in the previous messages that you put before you changed it. That's not going to be confusing at all. What's your new thing? I just figured out what your old one was. I thought that your old one was like Gru from Despicable Me for the longest time, and I just like I think last week got a closer look at it and saw that it like wasn't, and now you've changed it again. I've had that PvP for years, but I just decided to change it on a whim. Nothing wrong with that. now I have to learn what your thing is. Can I? No, I don't want to report. I want to see if I can like. I gotta like pull it up somehow. I'll do it later, I guess. Is your Roblox avatar? That makes sense. Technically, this one is also my Roblox avatar, but that's besides the point. I'll have to have a closer look at it later. Always good to change your profile pictures every now and then. Spice things up. Yeah, and in my comments, it's still the same. What if I refresh my comment? It's Jesus, he's coming. Okay. Very bright. Ah, it's a hooded, bearded man with horns. Got it. Sweet. Sorry. It was very important to me that I know it. That must be why. Our rendition of it. I had no idea the lore went that deep. Hooded, bearded demon man. Solid. Sounds like a good time. Sounds like a fun individual. So I've been getting more comments and stuff lately on like older videos, and it's just like you don't need to watch those. I mean, I hope I made good arguments, but like I know I've learned a lot more in the past like couple of years of making this content, and like I'm positive. There's no way that I've never said anything. I know I've said dumb stuff in my uh, content, and I know I've done like here's a video of me with long unkempt hair sitting in my car, leaning out the window, with light coming in through the garage window, trying to make sure the light catches my eyes because I wanted people to see that I had pretty eyes because I thought it would get me more views and stuff. It's just you don't need to watch. You don't need to watch the old stuff. It's just bad. I was just watching them too. It's bad. I don't know. And then there was when I had my long hair, and like it was like long hair, and it was the first time I've keep it nice. So there are videos where it's just like my hair is just like it's bad. It's bad. Like just looking at the thumbnails, I'm just like, Drew, what the fuck are you doing? Like, please, get some help. Although maybe I need to start doing videos in the sun again because when it's dark and stuff, my pupils get big, and then even when I'm recording in the bedroom, when I have the overhead light on and a lamp on across the room, my pupils are still a little bit big, and people think that I'm on drugs or whatever. Never done drugs, never intend to. My pupils just do pupily things. I don't know. I had some good days with the long hair. There are some pictures that I've seen. It's like you're looking cute today, Drew. You need to get past the awkward stage of long hair before it starts looking good. There's nothing you can do when it's intermediate length. It got pretty long. It's just I didn't keep it very well, so it would just get like frizzy and disheveled. I am an atheist. Although you know what, it's good
to look back at yourself and cringe, because that tells you that you've grown. I hope. I would hope. If what you're doing now looks so much better than what you were doing in the past, that what you're doing in the past looks cringy, you're on the right path. Hopefully in another 2 years I'll look back at this stuff and cringe. And just keep improving and stuff. Means you're no longer cringe. I feel like I still get some cringe here and there. I am a lot more careful. I'm a lot more informed and just know more. I've studied more, but I'm also just a lot more careful with what I say and how I say it now. So try to be less cringe. I used to have short hair, but then I grew out my long hair and I looked 10 times better and could never go back. I I don't know. There are sometimes I miss the long hair look, but I wake up in the morning, I wet my hair down, and I do this, and I'm ready for the day. Like I don't really have to like do much to it. With the long hair, it was the whole thing. So this is easier just to wash. It's easier to. It's just. I think I'd prefer short hair. I'd love to get my blonde back in. I really miss my blonde. Um, and I think my head injury is doing well enough to where like maybe I can get it dyed again. Were you always an atheist? I was raised Christian. Atheist seems weird. Maybe. Yeah, I was thinking back. What was my 2024? I was just thinking back. So like, New Year's 2024 hit, and I'm just like, all right, you know what? I want to start making the most of life. I don't want to, because I get into the thing of living in fast forward, of just like trying to get through the work week so I can get to my weekend, and then dreading the weekend, dreading the work week to come. So like messing with my weekend, and then just like not paying attention, doom scrolling on my phone, just like fast forwarding and wasting time. And so, start of 2024, I'm just like, let's take it day by day and try to make the most of every day. And I was doing pretty well. And then early March, I hit my head, gave myself a concussion, damaged the nerves on the top of my head, and maybe, possibly, not really confirmed, but like, doctors like, maybe, uh, had a slight skull fracture. Um, the concussion lasted a few months. Nerve damage still bothers me every now and then, but it really stopped being a problem around like October, November. So like 8 months or something. What is that? Yeah, like 8-ish months. Um, and so I hit my head, and then I'm just injured, and just trying to like heal and like hurry up and get to the healing process. So like I'm taking it slow. I hit my head, and then it's the summer. And then after that, it kind of slowed down, and my head started feeling better. But like, yeah, I that was my 2024 just gone. It's just head injury, mostly. It's pretty amazing. But I stopped dyeing my hair because the way my person does it, since my hair is short, we don't like do the foils and stuff. Although maybe we could. They put a cap on my head and then take like a needle and stab me in the head and pull tufts of hair out through the cap, and then put the whatever thing to bleach my hair on the hair that's outside. Uh, I don't want to get stabbed in the head repeatedly when I have nerve damage on top of my head, so like I haven't been doing it. But I really miss it. How am I? Am I okay? I'm okay now. Usually just rock the man bun to deal with the long hair most of the time. I had it to where I could get it tied back in a ponytail, but that would just hurt my head. Um, I think this was before my concussion, but like it would just kind of pull my hair and stuff. I just wasn't used to it, you know. So then, what did you slept through 2024? A lot of it. A lot of it. What made me leave Christianity? Diving into my studies to try to better be able to defend it. And just studying Christianity, other religions, their scriptures, their histories, beliefs, arguments for and against the existence of a God, scientific explanations for things. All the stuff, basically, all the different kinds of stuff that you might run into on a debate stage with theism versus atheism. And just in that, at least from my experience, I'm not saying this in any like objective form, but in my experience, it allowed me to peek behind the curtain, to see the man behind the curtain, and see kind of what was going on. And things like religion and God and supernatural stuff just started losing more and more credibility as I went on, to the point where I had just came to terms where I had no reason to believe this stuff, and I genuinely just did not believe in any of it anymore. And also just came to find religion as harmful more and more the more I looked into it. So slowly, over the course of like 7 years, drifted away from my faith and became an atheist. Did any of the LGBT stuff also play a part in that? Not really. Maybe kicking me a little bit further from Catholicism into non-denominational Christianity, but that's about it. Never felt the presence of God? Sounds like you went to a bad church, bro. I thought I felt the presence of God. I thought I had a wonderful relationship with God. I thought he was sending me signs and communicating with me, and I'd pray to him throughout the day to make sure my steps aligned with his will. I thought I had a great relationship with him. And I thought I felt that presence. Felt, that warm feeling, that amazing feeling. That just, after further consideration, maybe it wasn't actually God. Had it pop up on the screen. I get you see you just don't want it to be true. Um, Christianity, probably not. I would love there to be something else. And particularly, because my belief in a God kind of changed as I went from like Catholicism to non-denominational Christianity to just like theism. So like, at least where I ended, this loving, caring, good being who had my back, who I thought got me through everything, who I thought was there when nobody else was. I want him to be real, whatever that is. Uh, if that is the Christian God, I don't know if I'd be able to follow him, especially if the things in the Bible are true. It's just like, okay, really? So, like, we needed to kill all those people in the Bible? We needed to commit mass genocide? We needed to allow people to beat their slaves? It's like, it would hurt, but I wouldn't be able to support that God. But I would love to have that relationship back. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if I died and came face to face with Christian God. Because I often say, if I die and I'm met with the Christian God, I would have a lot of questions before I ever considered bowing. Because a lot of questions that would need a lot of good answers before I considered bowing. If somehow I could get those good answers and be able to accept and love that God again, I would love that. I would want that. So, yeah, would love, but just kind of not looking like the case, I guess. It's kind of a misconception. Old Testament God is the word of prophets to Israelites. Jesus explained this. Jesus' version of God is God. They're the same God. God is unchanging. So, like, it's the same God. It's the same book. It's the same story with the same people. Jesus is the son of the Old Testament God and the Old Testament God, if you believe that. So you can't disconnect the two. especially when the New Testament is also fine with slavery and is also misogynistic, and where God also struck down 2 people for withholding money from the church. Now, bro, Jesus literally got murdered for saying the old law was written for hardened hearts, that the law is on our hearts. He also said that not one bit of the law should pass until heaven and earth pass away. He also seemed to be upset with people when they didn't beat their children. So, like, I don't know. Like, he confronted the people, and he's like, what was it? The law says that if a child is disrespectful to their parents, then they have to die. But you say this. So he kind of like was upset with them for straying from that law. But then he also did tweak some of the other laws. So it's kind of hard to tell where he stood. But he did say that the law should still be followed. Do you think Jesus would wear Gucci sandals? Maybe. That's a hard. I feel like that's actually something that's worth doing a deeper dive into. Would Jesus be the type? Probably not. He probably wouldn't have need for the fancy shit. If there really is an Abrahamic God and I'm sent to hell for being an atheist, I wouldn't regret anything, since I know I couldn't have done anything else, since belief isn't a choice. Yeah. Or since you said belief is a choice, it's not a choice. Yeah. Move back in 1 second. You're good. He said, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." Yeah, that story is only found in the book of John, and a lot of scholars agree that that's not something that actually happened. It's not like didn't actually happen. So, I mean, it isn't. I figured you meant isn't. I think the Pope has posture shoes. Seriously, the Pope refused the tradition. You know, the Pope's on a whole different level than Jesus. Pope's doing all kinds of other stuff. How do you feel about the flood? Pretty awful. Pretty awful that God did that. A lot of scholars, bro, I'm sorry if you don't like my answers. Walk with the Spirit. How do you feel about all the evil in the world? It's not great. I feel like we could do without. A lot of scholars would agree with me too. Sure. Just because the book doesn't mention one thing another book does. I'm sorry, I can't read. Just because a book doesn't mention one thing another book does doesn't mean they disagree. Sure. It's super weird how God would blame atheists for not believing. You can't choose to believe something unless there's a valid reason to think it's true. Why punish non-believers for being unconvinced? Especially when you won't just like show up. It's like, I don't know, part the Red Sea for us. You know, people with faith are supposed to be able to move mountains. You're telling me nobody has any faith in the entire world? Because if you just have a little bit of faith, you can move mountains. Nobody has any faith because nobody's moving mountains. I mean, part a river. You know, they did that in the Bible. Stop the sun in the sky for a minute. Like, I'm not asking, like, stopping the sun in the sky is probably a big ask. But, like, part a river, like, something. And show up, for fuck's sake, you know? Even if for some reason all children were evil during the flood, that still wouldn't justify the omnicide of billions of animals. Yeah. And especially, I always like to bring that up, just like, because in the story, people like to justify, like, Sodom and Gomorrah and Egypt and the flood and stuff by saying, well, all those people were evil. Okay, but what did the baby do? What did the baby? What did the 1-year-old do? What did the 5-year-old do? Maybe the 5-year-old had enough time to become a piece of shit. But like, what did the 1-year-old do to deserve that? You know, I don't. It's one of those things. It's one of those things where it starts to make more sense if you're supposed to take it as some kind of myth, some kind of mythological story. It's like the world is evil when you're not supposed to look at it through the lens of reality and actually question and break down stuff like that. Um, but if people are gonna present it as reality and something good that God did, then yeah, I'm gonna critique it through the lens of reality. When you were practicing, what were you taught? What did you think about different branches, denominations? Were Catholic lost or foolish, or what? Um, Catholicism definitely isn't a favorite among the denominations of Christianity. Uh, and upon studying Christianity, as much as I don't agree with Christianity in general, I can kind of agree with a lot of the Christian denominations that say we should definitely don't agree with Catholicism. It's kind of a mess. Again, I don't believe in any of it, so it's not like I'm saying others like have found the right way. I don't believe in any of that, but definitely don't think Catholicism is it. Um, and taught about other branches that they were wrong, especially Protestantism. More than anything, we were taught about Protestantism and how they got it wrong and why they were wrong, and the Protestant Reformation and all that stuff. Um, yeah. Why would an all loving deity allow mental illness to continue existing? I think it would be better to be removed and wouldn't lose out on stuff like free will and stuff. Yeah. Of course, Christians will like to respond to that by saying, who are you to question God? God's all knowing. And that's another thing. Like when I said, if I die and I'm face to face with a Christian God, I would have a lot of questions that would need good answers before I bow. Maybe he does have good answers. So it's kind of just like a cop out. Just like maybe God knows what he's doing when he creates evil. But at the end of the Bible, at the end of Revelations, it talks about God creating the New Jerusalem. And someone described it to me. There was a comment who described it to me as like, you basically have free will, and you can do whatever we want, and just kind of like live like we do now. We just won't be as inclined to sin. And it's just like, oh, so God can create a world where we're just not as inclined to sin, and we're not suffering from sin, and like we're like evil, horrible things don't exist. He just kind of didn't, or he intended to, but then he screwed everything. He screwed everything up in the Garden of Eden. How behind am I on chat? I'm not too far behind. If I skip some of the chats, I'm sorry. I need to catch up. So so appeals to authority don't really refute Jesus' teachings. Neither do feeling like you don't like the rules. You admit you felt the Holy Spirit or what you thought it was, but you did not trust God over the words you misconstrued, bro. I mean, you can keep strawman attacking me. You're coming across as just kind of very arrogant and like not making very good arguments, strawmanning, and I'm just not really here for it. Like, notice how everyone else is like asking questions and we're having back and forth and being calm, and like you're just like not. Okay, I am a little behind on chat. If you can think of anything, then it must be existing, or else why are you able to think about infinite things that may not exist? I think the universe was pooped out by a giant rainbow space cat during the intergalactic laser wars of Stardate E370 in hopes that we would become the next prime species rising out of the ashes of a war-torn multiverse. That doesn't make my rainbow space cat real. We have imagination. We can come up with all kinds of things. 5-year-olds can come up with things that don't actually exist and draw pictures of imaginary friends or whatever that don't actually exist. So that doesn't really work. You know what Eve did by letting herself get tempted? So here's what happened. Here's what I see happening in the Garden of Eden. So God creates Adam and Eve, a naive new creation, does not give them the knowledge of good and evil, puts that knowledge in a fruit and says, don't touch that fruit. He then, I don't know, because he's supposed to be all-knowing and all-present. In the story, it just kind of seems like he walks away and like isn't paying attention. But if he's all-knowing and all-present, he's just kind of like sitting off to the sidelines watching. He puts a great tempter in the garden with his naive new creation. And that great tempter tempts them into eating the fruit. And prior to eating the fruit, they don't have a good knowledge of good and evil that would have informed their decisions and allowed them to say, hey, no, that would be wrong. That would be bad. That would be evil for us to ignore God and eat the fruit. They haven't eaten the fruit because God didn't put the knowledge of good and evil in them. He put it in a fruit and said, don't touch that. So his naive new creation gets tempted. And then they fall, and then God gets mad at all of humanity forever for it. It just kind of seemed like they were just set up. Most calm atheist I've ever seen. I try. Chat is moving a little bit fast, so I do apologize. I'm going to skip a lot of you guys. Flying spaghetti monster, a forklift operator, was stacking boxes of macaroni on the high shelf. It fell on him and killed him. A flying spaghetti monster? No? Maybe. He had to give them a choice because that's free will without any choice. The concept of infinity exists, but whether the concept has actually manifested in reality is another question entirely and can be false. Yeah. Do you think that the big gay is biological, psychological disorder or error? Not from a moral perspective or religious perspective, but from an evolutionary perspective. From what I understand, people who study biology and evolution and stuff don't have a solid answer. There are some ideas that like they're not really like hammered down. It could be for protective purposes. Someone who can't have a mate, but then is willing to go and protect like their sister's offspring. You know, you can have more of a family to protect. There's somebody thought of maybe it's I don't know. Not really any conclusive thoughts on it, but there might be some evolutionary advantages. There has to at least have been a not disadvantage. Or it could have just been a thing that just kind of happened. Because things in evolution just kind of happen sometimes. But I'm not really sure. There might be infinite things no man has ever yet thought of, but God is not one of those things. Familiarity breeds contempt. Maybe. Yeah, I wish I could think of all the... I was listening to someone, and a couple evolutionary biologists who gave like a few possible maybe explanations as to why like homosexuality might have evolved, but I can only remember like I wouldn't even say remember because like I vaguely like stumbled through what I did give, so clearly I don't remember any of it. The idea of being gay as an evolutionary advantage is interesting. It's a similar thought to autism ADHD being an advantage by essentially assigning different roles to different people intrinsically. That could be part of it. It's also worth mentioning there's some stuff in evolution because evolution is about the random mutation of genes and alleles and stuff. It's just like random mutation of DNA, because DNA isn't ever copied perfectly. So it's random mutations, and then natural selection, the non-random selection of those random traits, drives evolution. Typically, it's what traits, what's what I'm looking for? Genetic mutations or DNA mutations give an advantage. That advantage is going to make the being with the advantage more likely to survive and reproduce and pass down that DNA. That's usually about how evolution works. And it's just tiny, tiny, tiny changes over like millions of years. But it is also worth mentioning that evolution isn't like a ladder. It doesn't have to get better. It just does. It's we still, when we reach a certain age, our hair turns gray and falls out. We start having more back pain. Our body really just starts to go downhill. We haven't evolved out of that or anything, because nature really doesn't need to. Our reproductive prime is, in our 20s or even teen years. Not that we should be reproducing in our teens, but that's when the body like can do that stuff. So like in the 40s, it doesn't really matter what happens to the body. So like we haven't evolved out of deteriorating as we get older, because there's no need to. So sometimes the random mutations pop up and just don't get weeded out. Because it's not always about what's best. Logic is from observations within the universe. Unless we have something that directly points to the metaphysical, we can't use it to prove the existence of God. That's one of my reasons I'm agnostic. Yeah. And that's one of the things. We don't have anything to study the supernatural. I don't even know what that something would look like to study, because we need to be able to study the supernatural to get evidence for it and to understand it, and all that stuff, to even prove it exists to begin with. We don't have that. And is it because the supernatural just doesn't exist, so there's nothing to study, or do we just not have we just not figured out how to study it? Sorry, I'm just reading through chat. I'm trying to make sure I don't get like too far behind in chat. I believe in God because I believe existence had a purpose. I believe that me randomly becoming a conscious, moral, and thinking being wasn't an accident. I think it's unlikely, at least. Maybe. From what I see, it seems like creating life coming into being is just kind of a thing that the universe can do. And in the vast, infinite or seemingly infiniteness of the universe, if it's something that the universe could do, it's something that the universe had to do eventually, and so it did. Is you good? My cat just twitched. And then thinking minds evolved over time, morals and ethics evolved over time as we learned how to deal with one another and work together, because working together and cooperating and being good did give us survival advantages, and it was an evolutionary advantage. When it comes to social animals like humans, it can also be a survival. Oh yeah, a survival for the whole tribe, and not just individuals. Yeah. If you don't like if you don't like the flood because of all the babies, didn't the people sacrifice babies in fires to false gods? If I can, one day I'll learn how to read. Yeah, but the babies didn't sacrifice. I don't know. Is God just like, oh, the babies are gonna die anyway, so like I might as well do it. So like that doesn't really solve the issue. Especially because God like does do stuff in the Bible that helps people believe in Him and follow Him and gets people to stay in line. But then like He just doesn't do it to some. Evolution cannot explain how you evolve from 0 to 1. What do you mean by 0 to 1? Sorry, I thought I heard my daughter. Yeah, fun fact. During these live streams, uh, my daughter is sleeping. So at any point in a live stream, I might just end it, even if I'm like 20 minutes in. If like my daughter starts crying or something and like needs me, because I'm not just gonna like walk away and like leave the live stream unattended for a period of time, because I just don't want to do that. If I'm like 10 minutes into the live stream, I'll probably come back and go live again. If I'm like 45 minutes in, probably won't. Um, and I might just give it like a quick like, hey, I gotta go. My daughter's crying. Bye. So like, I'm a dad, and it's just me and my daughter. I'm the only parent here right now to take care of my daughter, so she takes priority over you. My favorite religion, if I had to pick one, probably Buddhism if I had to. I've actually used some Buddhist teachings to help me um, manage my anxiety and stress and help me sleep at night. So it's not bad. I am 1 hour through. So if I were to stop the live stream now, it would end and I'd be done. And I caught up to the bottom of the chat. All life is guided by a will to live, or else why put up with all the friction and resistance? Maybe. I mean, definitely. Something that has a will, more of a will to live, is more likely to live. I don't think she's awake. I think I heard one of the cats or something. Because I just turned up I have the monitor. I just turned it up and listened to it. I don't hear any noise. So. I am probably going to end the live soon, but I don't have to right this second. 0 is an empty space, or like setting one empty chair at the table for a visitor among the other guests, but the visitor never comes. So like, are you asking like how we got from like nothing to something, like that first step, like what, like life starting, or like stuff showing up? Is that the 0 to 1 that you're referring to? I am not a vegan. And you might have answered that earlier. I might have just missed it. Personally, if I was a baby, I would rather drown than be sacrificed to a false god. I think that the flood may have been a form of mercy for the innocent. Also, remember, and I feel like you are typing more, so I'll let you type. God has the power to save them since He had unlimited power. Unlimited power. He can. God can do anything. Supposedly. Allegedly. Where's my mouse? There it is. I got 6 new subscribers this live so far. Thank you and welcome. If you're still around. If you're not, that's fine too. Thank you for the subscription. I want to start doing more of these live streams. That's something else that I wanted to talk about. I want to start doing more of these. I have no idea when. I have no idea when. I haven't the foggiest, because I don't have time in the day. Some of you might notice I haven't posted much this past like week or two because my schedule's been crazy and all over the place. I just haven't had time to like record and edit and like get videos up. But I love these live streams. I love these live streams. I love going live and just being able to, because when I'm making videos, especially my short form content, I'm trying to get content out. I'm trying to like say something and try to be engaging and stuff. And it takes away from some of the authenticity. When you come into my live streams, it's just me. It is just me sitting on my couch looking at my phone. That's it. It's me. I'm not trying to make content. I'm not trying to, I kind of try to be engaging. Although I'm usually too tired at this point in the night on a Tuesday to really be bouncing off the walls. But it's more genuine, and it allows me to get more of my thoughts across, to explain more of my thoughts without like having to worry about how long the video is going to be. It allows other people to talk in the chat and get responses from me, because like people leave comments. I don't have time to respond to comments. I'm going to be honest with you. I used to like have like conversations and debates in my comment section, but like that's my night. Like I'll respond to someone in the comment section, and then I want to keep the conversation going. I don't want to just like come back 5 hours later, and they've been waiting for a reply. I want to give this person my attention. I've chosen to engage with them. I want to be there and engage with them. So that's my night, is repeatedly checking my phone for a response to comments, reading their comment, thinking about it, and then formulating a response for a conversation the rest of the night. I have a family to take care of, to spend time with. I have chores and stuff that need to be done around the house. Like, I don't have the time. That's the number one reason I don't respond to comments. If I can just, some comments I'll do like just a one response to. That's about it. Like, I don't have the time to have a conversation. This is me setting aside time to have a conversation and a back and forth with people. And it's a great opportunity for me to learn new things, and just talk about the topic, for other people to learn new things, not just maybe from me, but from other people in the chat. It helps the channel grow. When I do these live streams, I get a few more subscribers, like each live stream, and it's great. And so, just all in all, these live streams are just amazing, and I love doing them, and I love them. I just don't have time, especially 5 days a week. I have to be up before the sun is. I have to be at work, especially in the winter, when the sunset rises a little bit later. Although even in the summer months, I'm still at work before the sun is up. So it's like I can't stay up until 11:30 doing live streams and then having to get ready for bed and go to bed. Ever. But I'm thinking maybe like an extra night a week if I'm feeling it. Maybe I can stay up until 11, like have everything ready for bed, just so I can like end the stream at like 11 or like 10:30. I usually put my daughter to bed around like 8:30, 9, and wait for her to fall asleep. I could start these at like 9:30 if I really try and be on top of it, and like maybe go into like 10:30 or something. Like I can do that. I'm one of those people, I really need like 8 to 9 hours of sleep to function, but like if I get 7 here and there, I can function. I also have 2 days off a week, so like I could use the other day, but I'm usually doing stuff with family the other day, so like I don't know. So I definitely am gonna keep the Tuesday live streams as is and try to make time for those, even though sometimes I have to cancel those as well. But I also want to add more. And that might be one more, that might be 2 more, that might be no more, I have no idea. I have nothing solid, and I don't want you to expect anything from the extra live streams. I just hope that I can at least keep doing the Tuesday ones, because sometimes, again, I have to cancel the Tuesday ones. So, yeah. That's 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 what I got going on. What has been the most compelling argument for God to you? Most compelling arguments for God. As much as I hate it, a lot of the times it goes into God of the Gaps territory. It goes into, which is fallacious and it doesn't work. But it goes into, we don't know how this works, therefore God territory, which is fallacious and it's a fallacy. It doesn't work. It's not a good argument. But when you, what is unplugged there? Sorry. But when you think about stuff like how does consciousness work? And I understand that just because we don't know how consciousness works doesn't mean that just because we don't understand how it works doesn't mean it had to have been a god. The brain does a lot of stuff that we don't understand. But how does consciousness work? You know, or I've had some experiences in my life where like I thought there was something supernatural going on, and I still don't have good explanations for it. The universe coming into existence. I hate. You can write it off as God of the Gaps, but I like to give things more thought than that. So it's just like the unknown. There's a lot of just weird shit that it's like, does it have a natural explanation? So I think that's some of the best ones. I think. Yeah, that might be some of the best ones. I think. If any man was truly wise and then lived forever, what is it to you? What is it you say he could not do? He would be God. Maybe. At this point, it might be in your best interest to join a debate server or something. No, I'm scared. I don't feel like I could hold up. I don't think I could hold my own in a debate. Quite a few Discord communities with good faith debates on it, I'm sure. I try to be a good community for everyone. I took the secularist shahat. I don't know what that is. I just say I think when it comes to the forefront of cognitive science, we have a pretty good idea of how consciousness works. There's just no proof or certainty. Yeah. I have seen your Instagram and was surprised to see your channel recommended. Those platforms, they know. If you think about buying a toaster, you'll get an ad for a toaster sometimes. It's weird. That might be something supernatural. If you were God and yet totally alone, what good is it to be God? God is a condition that sets a table for guests, and then the party begins, and the good time is had by all. Sure, I can understand why he would make creation. We don't go anywhere that is just for squares. We just go. We don't go anywhere that is just for squares. We just go in the wild ones. If you like going on trips, why bother to arrive? Maybe. Either way, debates aren't about winning. The debate's just about learning. I agree, and that's why that's what I try to make it here. To try not to I try not to make it about because a lot of debates do kind of lean into that territory of like who's right. Debates it can very easily slide into that, and I know myself, and I know how bad I've been at conversations in the past about this stuff, and I've been working on that and trying to keep a hold of myself to try not to like get too heated in discussions and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't think I'm ready for debates. I think is the long and the short of it. How many times must we present the same message? Humanity is so ignorant, it's impossible to reason with them. They don't want truth. If they did, they'd listen to what we've been saying for years. Demonstrate that it's truth. Is truth and morality and natural law a social construct? Morality, I feel like, is something that humans have figured out over time. It's more of a social, human construct. Natural law, like physics and stuff, is, I don't think, is something that we as society had anything to do with. um, so no on that one. Truth, probably not as well. Depends on the definition of truth. Like there is a superheated ball of gas in the middle of our solar system that is truth. Or pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, and that's truth. It depends on what. There's some truth that is more objective, and there's some truth that is more social construct. Maybe. Drew, I have a question. I might have an answer. I need to remember your name for a second. All is mathematical frequency eternally experiencing itself as the absolute mind. Maybe. I've been in debate servers a lot. I think you'll do fine. Maybe. I prefer the shadows. Which is weird for someone who's putting their opinions online for everyone to see, but I don't know. I'm scared. One day, maybe. Natural law has nothing to do with physics. I guess I'm trying to figure out what you mean by natural law. What about predictions that came true? What about predictions that came true? So is killing infants right? I don't think killing people is right. Usually people don't just start gish galloping and using terms you don't understand, because understanding is important. This is true. You literally made the argument that might equals right. I did not. I had a pretty good evening. Thank you, and hello. If my Legos were sentient and felt pain, can I smash them still? Probably not. You're talking to someone else? Oh, I'm sorry. What do you think about lemon? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that lemon thing is you're talking about. Should probably end the live soon. Lemon, it holds us together. It's in our blood. Oh, I think I might have actually heard of that. Yes. Laminin is a glycoprotein that's a key part of basement membrane of animal tissue. It's made up of 3 subunits. What have you changed? Provides a sexual structural scaffold for cells. It's a major component for the basement membrane, which helps cells adhere to each other and to surrounding tissue. Yeah, seems like a pretty important part. Seems like a pretty important part of our stuff. You just did say that he holds all things together. Okay. So, oh, that's right. I just saw the image. Yeah, it's that weird one that's a cross. Yeah. No, I have seen this before. Yeah, I just looked at the picture. It's interesting. Uh, but also like there's different pictures of it, and some of it is more cross-like, and some of it's more cross-like. So like, I don't know. It might just be one of those things that's just something that's branching that kind of looks like something. It might just be one of those coincidences. But it is weird. It is weird. The theory of everything is nothing. If you can tell me what nothing is, you must know everything. Maybe. How do you even describe nothing? I don't have a public email. Uh, I do. I'm just kind of scared to post it. um, but you could probably direct message me on Instagram. There's another way that people can get a hold of me. How do you feel about the predictions the Bible describes, such as be mocked, God would be mocked, the rise of tech, men on the streets claiming to have babies, for an example? How can you explain that? I think a lot of the predictions made in the Bible, I think when it comes to predictions in the Bible, or prophecies, or however have you, there's internal and external. Internal is, and I know it's not what you're talking about, but internal is stuff being predicted in the Old Testament coming true in the New Testament. And that's not really impressive to me. That's someone writing something down that it's going to happen in chapter 1, and then somebody else with knowledge of chapter 1 writing it down in chapter 2. So it's not really impressive to me. And there's external predictions and prophecies, which are just really ambiguous. They're really broad, open to interpretation. Like, I don't think the Bible anywhere says anything about technology. Um, it's like the scroll. I think it's in Zechariah. The scroll that enters into people's houses and burns it up and whatnot. People are saying it's supposed to be. It's a nuke. It's a nuclear warhead. Is it? It's like some of these, or like men having babies, or like it's. I don't know. God would be mocked as normal. I think there's a lot of fail safes in the Bible that tell me that the authors were fully expecting to be made fun of, which all other religions are, but like put in fail safes of like they're gonna mock us, and then like when people inevitably make fun of your religion, people can say like, oh look, they said they were gonna make fun of us. So like there's stuff like that, different fail safes, um, in the Bible. But other than that, yeah, the prophecies. There's not really any prophecy in the Bible that I think has come true. I know there's a lot of prophecies that people have twisted and turned, and like maybe this means this or that means that, or like this prophecy means this thing that's happening, and then 20 years later it means something else that's happening and not that, and then 20 years later it means that this is happening and not that, and it's, I don't know, it gets a little out of control. Which God are we talking about? Mostly Christian God. Yeah, the prophecy is just, they're too open to interpretation. This is the time of night that I reach every Tuesday night, where it's like I should probably end the live soon, but I'm enjoying it too much. This is why I want to do more live streams throughout the week. They're fun, they're enjoyable. I like doing them, um, and I never want to. I never want to. I never want to get off the live stream. When I read Nostradamus prophecies years ago, they were more impressive than biblical ones. And a punishment of wickedness is collateral, which will include infants. Well, God should have better control. God can strike individual people down. So, like, and it's like, I don't know, you're going to tell me that there wasn't a single good person that could have been saved in all of the world before the flood? None. It's another one of those things, just like, it works if it's a myth story, if it's a mythological story meant to try to teach a lesson, and if it's not meant to be viewed in the lens of reality. How do you feel about the Bible prophecies that the Euphrates River is drying up? And it is. Also, it's looking a lot like the Greek letter omega, meaning the end. The Euphrates has dried up a couple times and overflowed a couple times. Rivers and streams just kind of do that. It's just kind of a thing that happens. We can't panic every time it does. And with what it looks like, people look up at the sky at clouds and stars and say, hey, that looks like this, hey, that looks like that. You know, that cloud looks like a teddy bear. That cloud doesn't actually look like a teddy bear, but it looks close enough, kind of resembling a teddy bear, to where our brains, our pattern recognition, kind of sees it as a teddy bear. Well, I know how you feel, but those kids are safe with him. Yes, they died, but God will preserve the innocent. That just like is justifying killing babies to me and killing kids, and I'm not on board with that. Like, once the conversation enters into, no, it's okay, it's good that the babies died and like the 1 year olds died because now they get to go to heaven. That's just really, we've crossed a line somewhere, I feel like, when we start making arguments like that. God doesn't really kill them, they're still there. Sure. It's just weird territory to me. It's just weird territory to me. Because then what's the point of this life? It doesn't even matter. God should just kill us all right now. God should kill all babies. You know, by that line of thinking, maybe we should kill all babies because then they would all go to heaven before sinning. You know, it gets into weird territory. My throat really wants me to stop the live. It is not having it. Also, if you read the book of Revelations, when it says like the Euphrates River is drying up, there's a lot of other shit going on around that time. Like, it's not subtle. You know, like it's not like I don't know. there's more big stuff that's supposed to be going on around the Euphrates River drying up. How about the Bible prophecies of the moon turning to blood and it's rusting a red dust called hemata? Hemata stands for blood. Yeah, but like the moon's not like turning red as blood. It's still like the same color. So like you'd have to like blood red. Okay. I love you all. You're great. This is great. I love doing these lives. I do think I have to go. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Um, this this was a good live. This was a good live, and I hesitate saying that because like a lot of my lives are good lives, and especially lately. I've just been having my throat is just like kill me. Stop talking. Um, but all of my lives lately have been really great, and um, thank you for everyone for making that happen. Even if there are people who are in other lives who aren't in this life, um, it's great. And the people who come back, it's weird to me that I have people who like some of y'all like make time on your Tuesday nights to come and watch my live streams, and I think it's weird in the most loving of terms because I my upbringing and how I was treated growing up has caused me to have a very low view of myself. You'll never hear me like bragging about myself or like talking high on myself. I think I'm like I always have an extremely negative bias on myself. So like the fact that people like the same people regularly watch my content and like comment and show up in the live streams, it's very weird to me. It's very weird to me. The fact that we recently passed 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. It's not a lot, but like it's a lot for someone who like shouldn't have 1,500 subscribers. So I I don't know. Um but I love these live streams. I absolutely love doing them. Um so and thank you everyone. Anyone who just stops and watches even for a second because you don't even owe me that. There's no real reason for you to even do that, but especially people who stay, even just people who lurk, you know? I see the number of viewers who are in the live at any given time, and it doesn't always match how many people are talking. That's fine. You don't need to interact. The fact that some of you are, I have some people who just sit through my live streams. I think I have a couple who will just sit through my live streams and not say anything. I love you. Thank you for being here. You're awesome. You don't even need to engage. And then people who are engaging or liking or subscribing, it means so much. It means so much. And on the other platforms too, just any kind of support. Just the fact that I get people commenting or following on other comments, it's really cool. But these live streams are fun, and I would like to start squeezing more into my weeks, at least like one or two more in. But I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to. But I would really like to. So, if nothing else, try to make sure I keep doing. I know like during the holidays I had a lot going on. I had to cancel a lot of streams, but like hopefully uh, I can at least keep doing the Tuesday ones. At least hopefully I can do most Tuesdays. This is the 20th live stream that I've done on YouTube. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. Um, but anyway, thank you for being here. Have an amazing night, and maybe I will see you around. Bye.